Summer racing continues from the spa, and it's the Grade 1 Woodward Stakes, $750,000, and it brings together a 9-horse field. Should be an interesting race. You kind of got a mix of some Grade 2 horses, some horses that can't quite get 9 furlongs, and then a couple of speed horses that are going to try to stretch out their speed to the 9-furlong distance. Let's start at the rail. He's in form, and Mr. Buff will take a lot of beating on the front end. He's going to try to complete the hat trick. He's won 2 in a row, and both by open links. Both of those were New York restricted races, and now he faces open company. The last time he did that was in the New Orleans Handicap, a Grade 2, and he set some fast fractions that day with a little bit of pressure and was kind of soundly defeated by 43 lengths. But on his day, when he's able to kind of open up a little bit on that backstretch and control the pace, Mr. Buff is definitely a strong contender. Bale Harbor, a hard-fought loss the last time with a 105 Brisnet speed figure. He lost to the venerable War Story. That was at the Shore, Monmouth, New Jersey. That was kind of a big effort for Bale Harbor, and it'll be interesting to see as he takes on Grade 1 company. He's always been kind of that Grade 3 horse, some listed stakes races in his resume, but he's never really popped a big race in a Grade 1 race, and I'm not sure if he's going to do that in his 17th lifetime race. He does get Javier Castellano. He's another one that can run from just off the pace, so I think Bale Harbor is going to sit a good trip, and it's just kind of a matter if you think he can face open company and come away with a victory. Vino Rosso is your most likely race favorite. He tried the likes of McKenzie the last time out, and John Velasquez, his regular rider, rides him. 2 back, he picked up a Grade 1 victory in the Gold Cup, so he definitely is a Grade 1 winner, and he's faced other Grade 1 races like the Carter Handicap and the Belmont Stakes last year. So Vino Rosso, I think he's a legitimate favorite. I think he likes 9 furlongs. I think he was a little close to the pace the last time in the Whitney, and that was a strong pace that day. The track was a little bit on the slow side, so I think his speed figure actually could be a 102 or a 103. The track was demanding that day, and I also think he actually, he kind of made a move coming into the turn. Everybody kind of closed in on McKenzie, and then McKenzie just kind of out-sprinted him to the wire. So Vino Rosso, definitely a top chance in here. Mongolian Groom, I'm not sure where he's at. He ships across country, and he comes back on a quick turnaround. He ran in the Grade 1 Pacific Classic. I think that's going to take a lot of the starch out of him here, and I'm thinking he's kind of a play against. Mongolian Groom definitely can get the 9 furlongs. He's faced some good horses like Catalina Cruiser and Vino Rosso. He ran in the Gold Cup. If you think he can come back on the turnaround, he's definitely a win contender, Mongolian Groom. Preservationist, another one of the top 3 favorites. Faded out last time, but he set some, kind of was hustled to the lead against McKenzie and kind of took him out of his race. In the Suburban, he laid just off the pace of Catholic Boy, and then he was forced to take the lead the last time out and was kind of hustled out of the gate. So I think if he gets a little bit more relaxing start and really kind of can slow down that first quarter to maybe a 24-4, maybe a 25, maybe I could see 47-3 even for the half. And Preservation is definitely capable of a much better effort. I think Preservation is really the key to this race. If he can slow down the fractions, he could kind of definitely has kind of a class edge and might be able to let Mr. Buff kind of take that easy lead and let Preservationist be in that stalker position. Forewarned, he's a closer. I think his best chance is hope that the pace heats up. Forewarned, definitely 10-1 on my line in this race. Yoshida, probably the favorite, maybe second favorite, depending on what they do with Vino Rosso. Got the perfect pace set up the last time. Let Preservationist and McKenzie kind of fight it out on the front end. Then laid in the back of the pack, looped the rest of the horses and finished second. I think it was kind of a little bit of a mirage, though. I like Yoshida. He's definitely a horse that needs a bigger field. He needs a hot pace. He's going to get Mr. Buff on the front end. He's going to get Vino Rosso maybe making that mid-race move. So Yoshida has a chance, but I wouldn't take too short of a price. Wooderson, I kind of liked his effort the last time. Runner-up effort from off the pace to Tom's Dia-Tot. Showed kind of a new level of class for him, and now he's got to go up to a Grade 1 level. He's never really faced that type of horse. So Wooderson, if he can lay off the pace, I think he's definitely in form, and his pedigree is that of a late developer, and he's only got 9 lifetime races. He's probably one of the few horses with upside in this spot. Tom's Dietat, another one of the favorites. You know, I think this horse is a bet against. He's 7 for 13 lifetimes. But one of the things in handicapping is I just don't like horses once they have known issues. And he missed a lot of time after racing a couple of years ago, and he's a 6-year-old now, lightly raced. You know, he definitely needs time between races. I didn't like the way he finished up the last race. I thought he got the perfect trip, but he just didn't stride out the way I liked, and that was a listed stakes. Now he's got to face open company, grade 1 competition, proven horses at 9 furlongs. He's not going to get an easy lead. Mr. Buff is going to do that. Vino Rosso is going to make a mid-race move. You've also got Woodward making mid-race moves, and even a horse like Yoshida. That's a lot to ask, so I definitely think Tom's Dietat is a fade. So when you look at some of the factors in this race, you know, your favorite is Vino Rosso. The speed is Mr. Buff. I'm not really sure I have an edge in this race. You know, that's really what you're looking for. Who's the best price at the best odds? And I'm not really sure. I think a fade is Tom's Dietat. He definitely doesn't offer any upside. Woodward has a little bit of upside at the price. Mr. Buff could get loose if you're getting 6 or 7 to 1 on him. My top choice is going to be Yoshida, but you definitely need a hot pace for him. Vino Rosso is definitely my second contender. I'd probably narrow it down to those two. I just think they're the class of the race. But if you get 10 to 1 on Mr. Buff, that's fine. If you get 10 or 12 to 1 on Woodward, I think that would be okay. And I think the fade in this race is Tom's Dietat. That's a look at summer racing from the Spa Saratoga. Don't forget to hit subscribe. We've got more race videos coming up next week as we start to lead you into the Breeders' Cup as we get into September. And make sure to check out last week's race videos as we previewed the Travers Stakes and a few other stakes races from Saratoga. Hit subscribe, ring that bell to get notified of new race videos. The more subscribers, the more races we will preview as we get closer to the Breeders' Cup. So thanks for subscribing. Hit subscribe if you haven't, and leave a comment. Who do you like in the Grade 1 Woodward Stakes?